Well, good morning, YouTube. As you can see, it is a rainy Thursday morning here in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I just topped off the gasoline cans for the generator so that if we need generator anymore today or tomorrow on our way home, we'll have it. As you can see, it was like $53 to fill up those two 5-gallon cans. Now, in all fairness, I filled them up to about 5.7 gallons each. So I actually get almost 12 gallons out of it. The generator takes 2.4. So I'll actually get about 5 fill-ups out of that. And each fill-up is running us anywhere between 14 and 16 hours because we're not having to run the AC unit running to them. So we're getting pretty good fuel economy on it. So realistically, that $53 should last us 2 or 3 days of actual just running the generator. Of course, we don't need to run it when we're going down the road right now. So anyway, it's just after 8:30. My plan is to pull out of here right about 9 o'clock so we can meet Andre and Harry down in Carlisle by noon. Map says we're 2 hours away. You know, with Goliath going slow up the hills, probably actually take us 2.5 to 3. I don't know. We're not in a hurry, but somewhere around noon we're going to meet. Yesterday I went through and did most of my pre-trip. I did the brake adjustment, and yeah, some of them were definitely out of adjustment. You know, something with these old trucks you got to stay on top of. A lot of the newer trucks have these automatic brake adjusters. Goliath does not. So every couple of shows I try to get underneath there and do an adjustment. They say every 10 or 15,000 miles, but I'm seeing with Goliath that it takes a lot more than that. And obviously when we're running through the mountains, you're going to get a lot more brake use, so it makes sense as to be done a little bit more often. So go ahead and got it done so that we can get home safely, and then I'll probably adjust them again before we actually head out to South Dakota in another week or two, just to make sure, because we don't have a lot of mountains. The only mountain we really have to climb on the way to South Dakota is Mount Eagle. Other than that, it's just some pretty big hills, but it's the only real mountain climb that we have. Anyway, I got sidetracked. So yesterday I did most of the pre-trip. I checked all the fluids, I did the brakes, I checked all the load securements and all the tires and so on and so forth. So Katie should be just about ready, so I'm going to go ahead and fire Goliath up. I'm going to do the last quick circle check on my lighting and so on and so forth, and we should be ready to go. Now, did you guys see that? I had the camera propped up so you could actually see the startup, and I guess the camera fell over just before I started it. Literally, like 3 seconds before I hit the start button. Well, all the lighting looks good, so let it finish airing up, and I'll go ahead and do a final brake check and check everything else there, and we'll be ready to roll. All right, guys, as you can see, we made it to Carlisle. We met with Andre and Harry. Now, the reason we were stopping here is because Andre had a couch in that new Newell motorhome that he purchased a few months back. And the couch didn't meet his needs. It folded out to a bed, but that's actually what they had in the bedroom. So he was kind enough to give us the couch because he's going to put a full bed in there. And the couch folds out to a queen-size mattress. And right now in our living room, we have like a futon that really isn't very comfortable. And so we thought the couch would be a good idea. Mostly because on the next trip out, Mama S is going to be with us. That's right, my mom is going to travel with us to South Dakota. So this way she'll have a more comfortable platform to sleep on. By the way, did you see Harry's GTO? It was a beautiful, beautiful Judge. Now that is all original, numbers matching car. He did repaint it, but other than that, it's all original, unrestored. Gorgeous. And he just drove it from Philly out here to Carlisle for the spring car show. All right, so Katie and I are gonna run inside to Denny's and grab something to eat, and then we're back on the road, try to get home. All right, guys, we are done with lunch. Doing a quick walk around before we get back on the road. And we're gonna keep on heading down towards Virginia. Don't know how far we're gonna get just yet. But we're gonna drive until I don't feel like driving anymore. You know, before we met with Andre and Harry a little while ago, we went in and pulled into the RV dump station too and got everything dumped out. That way we're good to go for the rest of this trip because, you know, been filling that up for the last 2 weeks. Now we should be good the rest of the way home and our trip all the way out to South Dakota.
you can see, we made it into Virginia. I actually tried recording the sign, but I fumbled with the phone, and I think I messed it all up, so I don't know if it came out or not. At the time, we were passing a vehicle that was a truck that was towing another truck that was towing another truck with a truck on the back. I think Katie got some better footage that was going by, and if she did, I'll insert that right about here. That guy was going really slow. It was all over the road. I was more focused on that than I was hitting the proper button to record, so that's why. But now we're here near Woodstock, Virginia, exit 283, and I guess at 281 mile marker there was an accident, so we got some slowdowns here. So we're only doing about 20-25 mile an hour. It's been stop and go for the last couple of miles, so hopefully it doesn't last long.
Well, guys, sometimes it seems like if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. So Katie and I decided to get off at exit 205 in Virginia just to put some fuel in. I debated on whether or not I wanted to stop and nap for just a moment, just a little bit tired, and then continue on. Not wanting to go through Bristol or Knoxville during rush hours. I thought, well, maybe it'd be better to stop early, rest a little bit, and then continue on without staying the night, so that I could avoid those areas but still find a parking spot early enough. But I was actually feeling pretty good, and I kind of decided that, well, maybe I don't need a nap, so I was just going to go ahead and fuel up and jump back on the road. Well, as soon as I took that picture of the fuel pump that was across the street at the Smiley, you can't really see it from here, all of a sudden I heard this loud pop and pating, and underneath the truck, these parts right here. Oop. Yeah, that's the noise I heard. So there's a diaphragm and a little cap. They popped off of something, and I could hear a lot of air escaping. I went inside Goliath, and the low air pressure alarm was on, and the primary needle on the air gauge was down to 0. The service brake one was still up. So I knew there was an air pressure problem. So what I did is I just milked Goliath across the street to the Petro, because they do have a service center. The other place didn't, because I might get lucky and find the parts to fix it. But haven't crawled underneath there yet to see exactly where it is. We pulled into a reserved parking spot, and pretty much tell you that by the time I'm done fixing this, if I can even fix it tonight, I'm probably not going to want to continue driving, and I'll just do it in the morning. So I'm going to go inside, reserve the parking spot, and then I'm going to try to diagnose the problem and see if I can find repair parts. All right, guys, so I got my reserved parking spot. Like I said, the reason I'm doing this is because it's 6:30 in the evening right now, and if for some reason the service shop back there doesn't have this part, I'm stuck here till tomorrow anyways. And if they do have the part, depending on how long it takes to fix it, then I'm gonna wanna go take a shower. You're looking at, it could be 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, who knows? Because I don't even know what it's gonna take yet. So, just preemptively decided we're just gonna stay here for the night. I do have to tell you that this Petro here, this exit 205, is the White's Travel Center. This is a really nice place. It's like a mall. It's massive. A bunch of trucks in the parking lot. It's almost like a madhouse. They got a huge parking area. Even the parts department is, it's big. It's almost like a little mini chrome shop. So in here they get the barber shop and the food court. It's almost like you're in a mall or an airport or something. It's like a whole nother little drugstore gift shop on top of the store that's out front. Sorry. So as you can see, they've got a lot of fuel islands, a couple pretty decent restaurants inside. There's a truck wash out back, and there's a Quaker Steak and Lube right next door. You know, it's the first time I've ever been here, but if I'm not mistaken, I saw Justin from Just Truckin'. He was here a few weeks back. I remember he was talking about it. The place is definitely pretty nice. Hi guys, I found where it goes. This air tank right here behind the driver's side front wheel. The line coming out of it has got some type of like a regulator looking thing on it. This is on the bottom. I'm not sure if it's just supposed to regulate air pressure to one of the systems, but it looks like it's going to be easy to get to. I'll take it underneath and show you. So right there, I'm assuming that this and this coming right on the bottom of there. I know it wasn't supposed to be open like that, and I think that's where all the air is coming out. So it looks like undo this fitting, then unscrew it from that pipe, maybe go back to the shop and find a replacement. Well, it came off pretty easy. I've got it about a minute and a half. So I mean, to me, it just looks like some type of a regulator or a bleed off of some sort. I'm gonna walk back to the shop, see if it's something they have, or if it's something that I can get away with bypassing for the time being. And completely unrelated, but yet simultaneous, we're also having trouble with the DC to DC charger. So the DC to DC charger by Victron that I installed a few months ago was supposed to take alternator power that charges the batteries and also recharge the house battery bank, so that when we're driving down the road, I don't need the generator to be running in order to power the refrigerator, and if we want to turn on a light or something like that. Now, we're not running a bunch of accessories. Refrigerator only draws, what, 350 watts or so. But I'm having issues with that. It's like the system works, but it doesn't stay working. I think because the alternator on Goliath doesn't put out enough amperage to make it work. So basically you can set parameters on when it starts to charge and when it stops charging based on the alternator's output and the battery voltage of the main truck batteries. And I've played with some of that a little bit, and I noticed that the charging will turn on. It'll say bulk charge, and it will stay on, but then the input battery voltage starts dropping, and then it hits that low cutoff and it shuts it off. So it's trying to cycle on and off over and over again. So when we stopped to get fuel, I noticed that we had no power inside Goliath. So I went out to check it, and basically the inverter had turned itself off because the battery voltage was too low. Basically the batteries were dead. They were at 0%, which shouldn't have happened. One, because we weren't unplugged for all that long. Keep in mind, when we stopped for lunch, we pulled out the generator and had it charging. So it's only been on for a couple hours. Those batteries should have held up, but I think the batteries are compromised. I did have a short out one time years ago, and I think that it seriously decreased their capacity. So yeah, just our luck. 2 problems at one time. If this one's easy to fix, the other one, you know, worst case scenario, I put the generator on the tongue of the trailer like I've done before, run a cord so that it runs the whole time. That's what we got to do. It's what we got to do. Now, I do have a second alternator on Goliath that is not hooked up right now. There's no belt on it and there's no wiring to it. I believe it's 24 volt though. And when I first got Goliath, that is the alternator that was wired to the house batteries because they were wired in 24 volts. Maybe I can take that alternator and have it reworked to be 12 volt, and then it can charge the house batteries when we're running down the road while the other one charges the truck batteries. It's there, might as well use it. Alright guys, just to give you an idea of the size, there's the front parking lot. I don't even know what that building right there is. It's not even open yet. And then you come back here, you got the rear parking lot. And it's huge. Katie said it's over 400 spaces. This is the largest truck stop on the East Coast. That's what I was told by a lady inside. Well guys, as you can see, the parts department even there was very, very nice. The nicest Petro service department, parts department I've ever been in. So I think we're getting lucky. $73. The part looks different. He told me it was a tractor or trailer protection valve, and basically it just regulates the pressure. So the new one looks a little bit like this, but the actual distance from here to here is the same. The fittings are the same, so it should be a quick, easy, direct replacement. Let me get back over to the trailer, get the fittings put in, and put it back on, and we'll test it. Look guys, they even got a chiropractor and a dog wash. Alright guys, so here are the 2 pieces side by side. Different designs, but same concept. Alright, so I got the fitting swapped over, some pipe dope on it. I'm going to take the pipe dope underneath the truck with me, get this put back on, call it done, I hope. Alright guys, and there is the new one installed. Pretty quick, pretty easy. Alright, so now we just got to fire Goliath up, make sure it works. Alright, so Goliath is fired back up and running. I don't hear any air leaks, but it's not filled full air pressure yet, so we're just going to sit here and hang out and see what happens. But both dials are climbing now. Before, the one was dropped and only the one was up. And right now we're only about 60 PSI. Now the guy back in the parts department says that it's not common for these things to blow up. They're supposed to bleed off pressure if the pressure gets too high, and then if it loses pressure, it pops out the tractor protection valve. Oh, look,
The low pressure alarm just went off. So he says there might be something wrong with the air pressure for it to blow it apart, but when it happened, we didn't have any higher air pressure than normal. We were only about 135, 140 PSI, which is what the truck is supposed to run at. So far, all is looking good. Let's just get a few minutes to test, and then I'll go ahead and do a lab test on here to make sure that everything is working properly. All right, guys, all right, sorry about that, guys. I was getting ready to talk to you, and somebody wanted to stop and talk to me about Goliath because his dad used to drive an old GMC Giant. Anyway, it's only 7:30. The truck is fixed. It passed the lab test. Everything works beautifully. So as far as being broke down on the side of the road and repairs go, this was an easy one. Keep in mind, it was only 6:30 when I was walking inside to get our ticket to park before I even got underneath and diagnosed it. The longest, hardest part of this whole job was walking all the way back to the parts department in the other parking lot to get the part. I wish all repairs were this easy. But anyway, it's fixed, so I'm happy. You know, the job itself wasn't that dirty. I mean, my hands are a little dirty, but not terrible. But laying on a truck stop parking lot, like, my shoulders are disgusting. And you know, people pee there and like garbage and yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go take a shower. And since we're staying here for the night, I think this is going to end that video. So I really want to thank you guys for watching. And until the next time we see you, keep those engines running. And if you want to see what the showers look like here at this Petro, stay tuned. I'll film it because Katie's on the phone with her brother James right this moment as I'm walking in. And he wants to see what the showers look like. So hang out for a minute, you'll see. Alright guys, if you want to know how this works, see it says driver ID, I'm 302, and there's the PIN number for my shower. You look up at the board, 302 means I go to shower number 4. Well, they're definitely not the nicest showers I've been in, but it's not bad. It smells good in here. Well, that was refreshing. I know it don't look any better, but I feel better.